Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about future of health. So let's dive deep into it. So health at this point is time in our time is basically our limits, basically flat out is the limiting thing. And there is a very good quote is that money can buy you medicine but not health. Meaning you can go to a doctor, you can take pills for taking care of your ills, but you cannot get health. You cannot be like, I am 600 pound, I go to doctor makes me 100 pound. Yeah, that does not happen like that. No, you can buy medicine, cannot buy health. And this is a very serious thing. And no matter how much wealth you have, you are stuck with the body that you have. And this is one of those things that many people do warn youngster about, is that do not go too much hard on like hustle bro, like you have to hustle from 20 to 30s. If you wreck your body after 31, and let's say you actually made all the like GG amounts, all that money will actually go to hospital, not to you. So be very mindful. You are stuck with the body that you have. Take good care of it. And if you go like thousands of years ago in any culture, take whatever culture you want to do, it was always classified as a great equalizer. What does that mean? That simply means people always knew that if somebody is richer than them, like back then we only had two classes of people, the ruler and the ruled. So the ruled people were always like, okay, like, they are there and all that, but like their health is like not that much better than ours. And again, sometimes they indulge themselves too much and consequences catches up to them. Like no amount of money or wealth or power could actually fix that. And there are many stories about that in many religions. It's a very common concept, is that health is the equalizer, meaning you're still gonna go poof. You may stretch it, but not too much. So it was a very important essence for basically a cohesion of our society, is that health was not something that just because you are rich you're gonna get. So it's not something that you can earn. Ironically, health you cannot earn, you have to maintain it. And there is a very wise saying, is that only difference between a rich man and a poor man is that poor man suffers uncomfortably while the rich man suffers comfortably. Both have to suffer. For example, you can be in a hospital that costs 50,000 and you can be in a hospital that costs 500. And here's the deal, you are still in a hospital. So this is a very critical aspect, that rich and poor suffer, only comfort level is different. You're still gonna suffer, like that's our limit. However, we decided to go to war with this. And we said to nature, no more. Anybody who watches Doctor Who knows what this is. No more. Basically, we just said nope. We said nope to diseases. And this is a very critical aspect. You have to understand this. Why this is such a big deal is that back in the days, like old days, every woman had to 8 or 10 or maybe even 12 kids. And I'm like, why? Well, this is the part that I'm generally frustrated that we do not teach in school, is that they had to, because child mortality rate was brutally high, meaning if you had 10 or 12 kids, there was good chance 2 or 3 of them gonna make up. That's it. Only 2 or 3 could live to adult life. And that's why even though we used to have that many kids that often, it was the average, the population never exploded because death was that powerful. But as with a written language, as with books, as with universities, we simply said no more. Like death has to move back. And we standed up and basically we started to fight. And we actually started to win. Like this is the biggest win that we started. Like the moment we figured out vaccines, we literally just stopped death. And this is the time when population explosions happened, because now women that were having basically, let's say 8 or 10 kids, all those kids actually survived. That was like, whoa, what do you mean? Like I had 10 kids and all of them lived to adulthood. It's like, how the heck that happened? We actually started to, and this is the time you can just plot out population explosions in graph and just see when the vaccines were added. Of course, you have to calibrate for 30-year time period, because birth rate does not get directly affected. It does have some sloppiness, but you will always see, like the moment medicine is, our population went from billion to billions, and every Indian knows this. So we started to actually win, and we went from our average of 30 years. Now, like, wait a minute, average was that low? Well, yes and no. Yes, many people, the reason why it's so low is simply because child mortality was so high and you had to count all of them. So consequence was like it was only 30. Yes, you could generally cross 30 years old, but your quality of health and issues would be bad. And if you are rich king and novelty, yeah, then you can like actually have quality of life, but most people did not. So 30 was like, your peak time. Like this is the era where people did not even have concept of retirement. They were just getting used to getting poofed out of existence. Then we pushed this puppy with vaccines and medical science to 60 years. Now we have pushed it to 90. Like at this point in time, anybody who's born alive, and unless they do something extremely stupid, should able to cross 90. Removing external factor like wars and all that, you should be able to cross 90 years old easily, meaning that should be a given. If you're in a good, okay society, you should be able to cross 90 years old. We got that. Like we actually stood up and we fought and we actually won brick by brick. And again, numbers show it. Like this is the time when people actually started to worry, wait a minute, what do you think I have to worry about retirement? It's like, that's why look at all the old stories. Retirement is not a thing. Retirement is not a thing. So at this point in time, that was the war declaration. So the first stage of the war is limit. Now limit is basically, this is the current stage. This is where we are. This is the first front line, so to say, is that our war on decay. So no matter who is inflicting it, be it bacteria, be it virus, be it pathogens, or be it cancer, we say no, just no. The moment we detect it, it's like we're done. Like the moment we detect it, we just boom it out of existence. And you can see a very good example of this in a recent pandemic. Like we detected it and we went from not having any idea what to do to literally having vaccines as quick as 3 years. That's like, whoa. And you're like, still took the, here's the 50, 60 years ago, we had to spend century just to figure out, oh, disease is a thing. We had to spend almost 10 to 30 years to figure out how to make a vaccine. Then we had to actually distribute it. That itself took 30 years. So think about that, like taking that sort of time frame and compressing it to 3 years, it's like, whoa. So if we find it, that's the limitation at this point in time. If we find it, like let's say your child develops cancer, we detect it early on, we good, bro, we good, like we good, we got this, we can sort it out. If you are adult, you catch it early on, we good, we got it. So at this point in time, if we find it early enough, we can attack on it and we are very good with it. Like our precision is getting better and better. Like my personal precision is that once we fire nuclear missiles at it, and I'm not exaggerating. For example, let's say you have basically brain cancer. It's brutal type. And in those sort of scenarios, because we have a blood-brain barrier, it's very difficult to put heavy stuff like through that brain-blood barrier. But we found out something very interesting. I have no idea who was the engineer or scientist who figured it out, but somehow that cancer actually likes to eat basically boron, and cancer does consume exponentially more than normal cells. That's how it grows so out of hand. So somebody figured out, like, what if we send boron, okay? We dump boron in your body and your brain cancer eats that boron. It's like, okay, cancer eats boron. Boron is not that toxic. It's not going to actually do anything. So it's like, we're like, wait, we let it feed, we let it overindulge, we put boron, and then we put you in a nuclear missile and we fire neutron at it. And we neutron bam out of it. So neutron goes from boron 10 and makes it boron 11, which is very unstable, and then it goes kaboom. So then you dump basically helium-4, which is alpha particle. It will exterminate the cell, and then we have a little bit of gamma rays just to sterilize anything that survived, and then we have lithium-7. That is not that toxic. So think about it, like trying to explain this that we do to someone in 1800s is that we're going to give you a thing. Cancer is going to eat that thing. And then we're going to fire nuclear radiation to it. And then it's going to explode. And you're going to be fine. And you're going to be like, hey, brain cancer gone. We do this. That's why it's like we are really good. Like if we find it early enough, you won't even know. It's like minor inconvenience. Like people say, no, cancer is not treatable. It is treatable. Like so many people have successfully handled it, successfully recovered from it. The only requirement is that we have to detect it early. So our missiles, they're awesome. Is that we need to know where to hit. And again, that's a very high level missile. This is a cheaper level missile, radiation therapy. And chemotherapy is even lower grade missile. But you get the point. Like we got this, we good. So our precision and more, like you can see that like we used to open the whole body. Now we have basically pinhole surgery. We are getting really precise. That's the difference that you can notice from basically 1950s to basically 2000s. It's like everything, precision went up. Heck, my dental surgery actually happened with lasers, not even exaggerating. Actual lasers were used. So we can stop harm. Basically, you get an infection, even HIV, if it gets inside your body, you detect it early enough, we can stop it harm. Like, dude, this is it. How much damage you spread around, that's it. No more, sir. That's it. You stop. And after that, hopefully, we hope that our body heals. Now, again, it's very good for children. Basically, children have successfully, the recovery rate has started to go up. Children gets we detect it early, we boom it, and then their body heals it up. Awesome. But we cannot repair anything. That's the current limitation. We cannot do repairs to it, meaning if you lost your limb, we cannot regrow it. We can make sure that this does not get infected. We can limit the damage. We good. Everything is like that. Like you have this infection, we limit it, done. You will not have any issue with that. So regeneration, yeah, that's like no. We cannot do that. That part is like no. That part is no. So that's the whole point. Limit is the first stage of war, and we have successfully deployed our soldiers in this front, and they have won it. Like we actually won. That's the primary reason why 90 years is something that we can actually look up and just be like, hey, I'm 90 years old. That's a thing. The primary reason for that. We limiting the damage, we are like surprising. Like you get sugar, things that used to poof people, we are like, oh, we detected it, now apply brakes. We cannot heal it, but we can apply brake. The damage can be contained and sometimes limited. It's like, this is it, you're not going to get more damage. So we're good. Then we come to the second stage of the war, the second line of defense, that is repair. Now repair part is, this is the main battle against decay. At this point in time, we can't actually heal or repair. For example, a majority of my teeth is gone, is that you have teeth, and if some rot or decay happens, the only solution we have is like drill the hell out of it and fill it with cement. Yes, I do have RCTs, and this is my another thing, like slip disc, is that there is a gel and there is cell wall around it. There is like an onion cell wall around it, and if for some reason, some injury or sitting improperly for many long years, which I did it during game industry's phase of my life, the liquid that is there, the gel that pushes out, this happens, like it bulges out. As you cannot send it back. You cannot. All the physiotherapy, all it does is limits the damage. Basically, the pressure that is exerted on that nerve bundles, that gives you the unbearable pain. We really actually don't have any solution to it. Like we just limit the damage. So that's our point. Like even if, like, limb loss, dental loss, we do not repair it. Repair is not a thing that we have. Like repair is not in our toolkit. Right now our toolkit is like, this is the issue, yeet that issue. But it's not like, oh, what it took away with you, yes sir, that's gone, that's permanently gone. Like, ask me how I know. So that's the one thing. We can stop the damage, we're good at it, but we cannot do it. And that's what's most painful aspect of long life, is that we are hopeless against chronic illness. Yeah, we can detect, let's say, Alzheimer's, dementia, many other things. It's like, then what's the point? We can't fix it. Like even with sugar and all that, yes, we can maintain the damage, but you cannot become healthy again. Like you cannot be like, some people have done, like people are working, soldiers are fighting, and sometimes we do have breakthrough and people have successfully recovered. But overall, it's not something that where you can just like, oh, you had this issue, fix man, take it and go home. Like blood pressure is not something where it's like, oh, you had blood pressure, here's the medicine for it, take it and don't worry about it. We do not have that yet. We cannot repair your body, like especially in stroke cases. Once your heart gets injured due to a stroke, second strokes makes you exponentially more vulnerable. Third strokes, yeah, good luck. So this is one of those things. It's like, this is where we are stuck at. This is the second war line that we are not able to clearly break through. But all hope is not lost. Soldiers are fighting, and we have some new missiles that are introduced. Most of them you must have heard, is that stem cell technology and bioelectric field. Now, like, what the hell is bioelectric field? Is that somebody figured it out that your body knows how to heal itself. And that's how exactly babies are born. Like, how the heck a baby is a cell, then it goes like human baby. What the hell? It knows how to grow. And who knows it? Not the brain, but the local area itself. Like, for example, how did this part came to be? This part knew how to be. Like, this is a very complicated aspect of that intelligence side of things. Like, where is that data stored, how to grow it? That's in the DNA. We know that DNA knows it. It's just that how it's expressed, that's the difficult part. I have linked a very interesting video down below of the researchers who explains this. The idea is basically, when a lizard loses a limb, that area itself is the one taking care of it. That's like, okay, oh, that area is gone, okay, let's start repairing. And it's repairing brick by brick. It's not like thinking far out. It's like, okay, it has to be 10 centimeters. It's just like, what was in the manual? Okay, manual said like build to layer 1 is to be like this. Okay, it builds layer 1. Manual says layer 2 be like this. It keeps building it. That's how majority of the species that regrows its limbs does that. Heck, our liver also does that. But we do not have that bioelectric signaling that allows us to do that. Like, embryos can deal with that, and that's how they grow. But problem is, the moment we come out of the mother's womb, that DNA and protein and all that, they shut off. And people have done experiments with rats, and results are promising that it can be done. there is a probability in future that we could have injuries like lost limbs or lost dental and all that, and we should be able to regenerate it. Where it's like, oh, you have teeth issue, rather than just like drilling there. It's like, bro, we got this. We're gonna put some, like, of course, disinfect that, put some powder there, magic powder, and then slowly starts to rebuild itself. It can be done. In principle, it can be done, but nature has enough, more than enough, basically data set for us to study. And again, our liver is like a good candidate. It's like showing that it can be done. So there is something there. And why go through this level? Well, the reality is, let's say you lived 90 years, right? Let's say I'm cursed with to live 90 years old. Okay. But what's the point if I have a rundown body, meaning my spine is gone, my teeth is gone, let's say eyesight goes away, or I get dementia. It's like, you want this 96 years old, not 96 years old who are like bedridden. That's the most critical aspect. Like, rundown body at that point is just what you call a suffering, unnecessary suffering. We have stretched the lifespan, we have not stretched the life quality. Until we get this repair battle taken care of, the quality of life would be low. We got it. Like, we are really good at medical technology. You have issue, you go to doctor is like, I got this. Repair wise, we cannot repair it. So, and this would be the current battle. This is the second war that we are fighting, second front line, so to say. So this is the repair stage. And again, there are some hopes, some hints, and some research that is going on that shares that there is hope on the horizon. We can break through this barrier also. Be mindful, we took centuries to break through first barrier. This is the second barrier, and our current speed is good, meaning many of you who are, let's say, in your 20s, by the time you reaches your 50, there could be a magical moment where it's like you get stuck at age 50, meaning, of course, you're still gonna go poof at 90, but your health will not degrade beyond a certain point because it can be repaired. That's a good thing to look forward to. I hope for that. I do not want to live 90 where I'm like, majority of my teeth is dust and my disc is like, lol. What is disc? Do you need a disc? So that's the second battle. This is the final battle, the enhancement. This is where we actually win. So what if you take, let's say you are a magical creature and you have the ability to sample entirety of humanity. You take best of the best of the best of everything. Best runner, best swimmer, best boxy-builder. Like, if you take everything best, like best skin, best eyesight, everything best of the best, you'll be shocked what a human you're gonna make. Like, man and woman, you'll be like, damn. It would be like, barring flying, it will be more close to Superman than it will be closer to human. It will be like, damn. Your imagination could not even imagine how many things can be done. And our DNA has the data. We know that, like, it can be done. It's just we haven't reached that point where we can actually exploit. Like, heck, repairing is also not there. So this is the final front, and we are seeing some good foundational research done on it. And the biggest change in the research of this field is that old age will be treated as disease. So you are suffering from old age won't be taken as like, oh, you're just old. It will be like, okay, you have this disease known as old age. We are working to cure it. That's the biggest change. Like, back in the very early days, we had no solution for diseases, like just like bloodletting. We had no solution. Now we started to limit it. Now we are trying to repair it. And this will be the final form where it's like, bro, we won't even have the issue. Like, old age will be treated as a disease, meaning you will not age to 90. You will be like, oh, I'm 90 years old. It won't be like, I am 90 years old. It will be like, I'm 90 years old. So that's the whole point. Old age will be treated as, and this shift started to already happen. Now more and more people are getting actual fundings to actually research this part. And what can we expect? Let's say we actually got it. Like, once we have the good genetic engineering, we got that. What can we have? Well, ideally, we will have a body that heals and repairs itself. For example, your kidney goes poof. Instead of eating it out of there, what if kidney repairs itself? Same way that liver does. Now, of course, right now it's not possible. Let that be very clear. But it should be possible. Like, let's say you lose a limb, it should regrow exactly how a lizard limbs grow. Of course, it will be much slower. Let that be very clear. And even the scientists who are working on the bioelectricity field, they're saying it could take like 5 years just to give you a basic limb. Let's say you lose this part, it could take 5 years. But here's the, and you will have a hand of a 5-year-old child. But they said, like, 5-year-old child's hand is still a hand, and it will grow. It will take time. It will take its sweet time. But you only need 20 years to grow it into like full adult strength. And be mindful, compared to a stump, to a child's hand, to a medium child hand, to a teenager's hand, by the time you reach teenager's hand, you're good. Like, you're good. So, and be mindful, that's the expectation. But what they are seeing on rats and all that is like, whoa, things can get extinct, much faster. So healing, repairing on its own. So basically, doctor visit should be something mandatory for us, because nobody is gonna go there. Like, it should be like, hey, please get yourself checked every year. Once a year. Come on, bro. Once a year, go into this bed and just like get Elysium scanned there, and just be like done. Because we won't even have any issues. Like, we will not get infected with common cold. That will be the final issue. Like, common cold, no. And if anybody sneezed, we'll like, not sneezed as in like allergic sneeze as in like infections, like, whoa, you got a disease, man. And what is the primary weakness of human structure? Well, if you look at human chassis in terms of horsepower, this puppy is awesome. Like, our body, it's good. It's power to weight ratio, holy damn, it's good. Like, ask any robotics engineers, like, how good this puppy is, how many watt it consumes and how much it can do. Damn. Like, our body in terms of energy efficiency, whoa. Like, it's very fun and cool to watch, like, games like Deus Ex, amazing trailers and all that. It's like, human body is that. I'm like, dude, what kind of nuclear reactor is running you? You can't run that much power on a battery. Like, there is no battery that has that kind of energy. And if it has that kind of energy, you do not want to be near it. Especially do not want to have in it. So, flat out, our body in terms of power to weight ratio is awesome. And if we can give it the ability to repair and heal itself, we good. So what's the problem? Our neurology. Basically, this puppy is stupid. This puppy, that 4 fingers, take your 4 fingers, put it here just above the arrow. This is the frontal cortex area. Yeah, this puppy is stupid. And why it's stupid? Well, nature builds you for physical strength. We got this, we good. This puppy is our invention, so to say. Now it's like, how? Well, fire. We built fire. Fire allowed us to cook food. Now, like, what's the benefit of cooking food? Well, it takes less energy to digest it, meaning you get more surplus energy. We created a family structure. This allowed our children to actually grow this part, like, and baby head, skull head started to grow. And its consequence, baby started to take longer and longer to mature. Benefit, this puppy. Now, this puppy is awesome in terms of intelligence. Holy damn, this is useless in terms of control. Like, we do not have admin rights. And this has no wisdom into it. Like, if your body has like a sort of wisdom to itself. Like, if its skin gets injured, it has a wisdom of healing itself. Like, it knows like what I need to do, how I need to do it. It does it, and it does it surprisingly quickly. We good, we got it. This puppy is 100% useless. For example, neurologically speaking, depression is a serious issue. Especially if you start to live longer, it's a serious issue. Why it's a serious issue? It's just that it's a thing, and then why the heck it's such a bad thing? Because it triggers a spiral algorithm. It's like, how the heck we have a spiral algorithm, and why the heck it's facing downwards? Why the heck there is no else code there? It's like, if detected spiral, detected more than 1 week, disable the function. Like, we do not have that. Like, addiction, why the heck this allows addiction? Like, this should not allow addiction. Like, you're like, okay, it gives you dopamine or oxytocin, whatever have you. Hey, still, why the heck it does not have a checksum on it? Whereas like, hey, 4 or 5 dopamine hits a day, that's reaching a bit high. How about I throttle it? And then again, people will try to do more. People will try to do more to get that higher dopamine hit. But here's the deal, your brain can invert circuit that. It's like, hey, the checksum is telling that you're getting too much dopamine. How about I give you bad effect or something that is triggering that dopamine circuit? It's like, hey, you used it too many times. How about we flood you with bad feeling hormones? Now, like, okay, wouldn't that person will feel agitated? Yes. And that's the desired effect. You run away, you do something else. And the moment body detects that something else is happening rather than the stimulant that was doing that, your addiction will give you oxytocin. Then it's like a safety oxytocin. It's like, shh, relax, everything's fine. You will fundamentally be impossible to have addictions. Like, you watch too much porn, your first few months you will enjoy it like a normal thing, and then you're like, feels bad. Then you'll, it feels bad, man. Like, that feels bad, and then you will just put it away, walk, do anything else, and you're like, oh, I feel good. Addiction broken. Just with checksum algorithm. Basic computer program has that. People ask me like, why I don't believe in God. Does not have admin rights. Very bad design. So, neurological control, that's just one aspect of it. And I did saw one TV show, Almost Human. They only ran for 2 seasons. They did have that. Rich people had designer babies, and those babies did not have to suffer from addiction. They can do whatever they need to do. They will just not develop addiction. Their brain was like, I got this. I'm brain for crying out loud. I know you're not supposed to get so much dopamine hit so regularly. Like, I'll throttle it. So, neurological control over it, like from emotional point of view, from like, we could be Vulcan level, God level powerful, but we are like Instagram addiction. We get Instagram addiction. So, better neurological control would be awesome. And where does it all lead to? Where is the final stage of humanity? Well, designer babies. Now, this is the interesting part. I did not knew how far CRISPR-9, the engineering has actually reached, until I found out there was a Chinese guy who actually did it on a human baby, real world, and the baby was born. Like surviving normally. Nobody could even tell that's a editor, and that's what you're supposed to be. Like if you are doing any editing, it should not show up. And this ethics battle started is that because if it can be done, which mind you, and this is the scary part to me, ethically speaking, is that all of the research paper, all the people who are talking about this, these people are the people who know Casper-9, okay, and these people know about DNA better than anyone else. All of them are like, yeah, we can do everything that you are thinking about. Is that should we do it or not? I'm like, how the heck we reach that point? It's like, here's the deal. What if you have a child? Again, you gave them neurological control. You're not giving them superpower. You're just giving them, hey, your brain has a brain. It says, thou shall not get addicted. Basically, it will, like the worst thing, why the heck people get stuck in their miserable life is basically comfort zone. Imagine your brain has an algorithm that literally stimulates you in such a way that is just like, hey, it does not need to read everything. It does not need to sub-processor. It does not need sub-processor. It's just like, hey, you're doing the same thing. Homeostasis. We have a homeostasis vector. It's like, hey, too much homeostasis, man. Too much, bro, too much. How about I change the gear? And just that little things, minor things can give you God level intelligence. Imagine like you, very rich parents' child that is genetically rated to be like the perfection of human neurology versus a middle class child. A middle class child is like, I eat food, I get, and then he's like, I get addicted to porn. And the rich people is like, yeah, I did eat it. It was funny for like 1 month. Then I felt unhealthy. You know, I don't know. Just like felt unhealthy. I just stopped. Feels unhealthy, man. Like there won't be a competition. Just with that, just with control, there won't be a competition. Like high IQ, no inherent disease. This would be awesome. Imagine having a livelihood where you know for a fact that you're not going to suffer Alzheimer's or any of those brutal diseases. And athletic skills, yeah, that's a bit much, but low risk of Alzheimer's and strokes, that's good. Perfect visions, that's good. In my case, I would want this to be gone, but you get the point. And that's how they were talking about is like the first babies that will be created would be designer babies in terms of aesthetic, basically select your eye color. We are that good that we can actually say that with confidence that if you want to do it, we can do it tomorrow. It's like your eye color can be selected. I'm like, we humans are really good. So, but it does create a paradox where it's like if rich people actually goes and gets it, they will create a like generational wealth fades after 2 or 3 generations. That's almost like an equalizer. It's like if your father would work their ass off to get rich, you will work your ass off to get rich. Your child won't do that because it's hard like 2 generations like wealth. It will not respect it. It will go poof. It happens. Like look around. It always happens. It's almost like natural, reset, so to say. But if you can do this, imagine like, we see rich people kids like how they are so addicted. Imagine they had a brain where it's like, no, you will only get dopamine if you actually do hard work. And that dopamine reward keeps getting harder and harder and you cannot trick it. You cannot trick it. The brain has an algorithm locked into it. It's like, I will not let you trick it. You have to do harder and harder things. Like if you're an athlete, you have to keep getting better. Like it will like, whoa. Like just wisdom in our just admin control, admin rights. And all of them were like, yeah, we can actually do all of those things. It was not like we can do it tomorrow. It's just like, yeah, if we actually sat down and we invested money into it, we can get it done. And the problem is that this will create a 2 class of humans. Basically, rich would be survival of the richest would be there, and then basic class people who cannot like actually win because they cannot have the restraint, control, and like it will be playing like 5D chess versus like snakes and ladders. We can actually like imagine like just 17-18-year-old boy looking like this, like, I'm good, bro, I'm good, and not getting manipulated by anyone. Like the pheromones, like the stupidity gene that men have, pheromone control lock. Brain is like, no pheromones, lady sir, no, we do not need it. We do not need to drain blood from frontal cortex. Like that's like if you ever wondered why men act stupid, blood is drained away from you. You can check it in fMRI scan, functioning magnetic resonance. You can check that. It's like a video of MRI. You can see that like blood will goes away from here whenever we are feeling excited. Who the heck designed this? So that's what I'm saying. Like imagine that sort of modifications. And these things are basic. These things are like, we can see how it can be done and we have the tools. So if we just grind long enough, we can do it. So, but this will be the final stage. What about after this? Well, then it goes into cybernetics and all that. But given what I understand about energy and physics, I don't think that's there for like few thousand years. Because like this body is good. And can we stretch this puppy to live 200, 300 years? Yes. Can we stretch this to infinity? No. So that's why immortality is not possible. We can live very long time, and heck, we may soon reach a point where 100 years would be like quality 100 years should be possible in, let's say, next 25 to 30 years, hopefully. So this is the final stage where we have designer babies, and all three levels, all three war fronts are being attacked. People are working their ass off into it, and we're gonna have some good breakthroughs. I hope so. I do not want to lose many more teeth. I have only few left. So this was my presentation on health, future of health. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.